have the latest after tornadoes slam the 4 states, killing at least 3 people. Plus the threat of flooding.
If you are in a possible impacted area, make plans and get out of there now.
How the heavy rains are impacting people along the Neosho River.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
On the 8th anniversary of the Joplin tornado, more twisters hit southwest Missouri, leaving a trail of damage. This video out of Carl Junction yesterday evening. Welcome to the KOAM Morning News, where it's 5 o'clock. I'm Michael Hasler.
And I'm Tanya Bach. Coming up this half hour, we'll have more on the devastation left behind by yesterday's heavy storms.
All right, before we get to what happened, let's take a look at what's going on right now. Is lightning, just an inordinate amount of lightning over the Joplin skies, as evident by the tower cam there at 7th and Rangeline. Now, here's what we're looking at on the Skywatch Storm Tracker right now. We are still getting just tremendous amounts of rain throughout southwest Missouri, southeast Kansas, and still hanging on there in northeast Oklahoma. Of course, flooding concerns are of the utmost right now, and on top of that, shaded in purple, those are tornado watches. Then as we dip into Jasper and Newton County, we have a severe thunderstorm warning still in effect, lasting all the way until 5:30. Now, our tornado threat has diminished as we've worked through the morning, but I want to give you an idea of the storm reports as we had tornadoes cut through northeast Oklahoma into southeast Kansas through southwest Missouri, and 3 fatalities in Golden City, Missouri. We also have widespread damage throughout Carl Junction, particularly in the Briarbrook subdivision, and we're not done. As Future Track will show you, we're actually going to have to ride these pockets of heavy rain all the way into the afternoon hours. Now, on top of the tornado watches that we have in effect, remember, we've got flood warnings, especially along our rivers, particularly the Verdigris and the Neosho, that'll last all the way into the weekend. Our temperatures, that's inconsequential right now. We will ride 80s and keep the chances for thunderstorms into the weekend. But for more on the damage from last night into early this morning, Tanya has the latest.
That's right. Thank you, Michael. In Barton County, Missouri, 3 people died in a modular home. It was 3 to 4 miles west of Golden City. That's according to Lamar Police Chief Rusty Reeves. Now, 1 person was hospitalized. That individual is expected to survive his injuries. The storm caused this tornado in Carl Junction started in Ottawa County, Oklahoma. It moved into Cherokee County, Kansas before making its way there. Video clearly showed a well-defined tornado picking up debris. The bulk of the damage in CJ was confined to the Briarbrook area. As you can see, the storm damaged a number of houses and uprooted trees. Much of the neighborhood is without power. Authorities reported many trees down along Fur Road, and authorities closed access to the area to anyone other than emergency crews and people who live there. But at last check, there were no reports of serious injuries there. CJ police reported after an initial check, there were no reports of serious injuries there, only some scrapes and bruises. The storm then moved from Carl Junction northeast into the Oronogo area. The National Weather Service issued a tornado emergency, meaning there was an indication of a large, well-defined tornado moving into a populated area. And as it passed through Oronogo, it was unclear late last night whether it actually touched down or was a low-hanging funnel. Early reports were that trees were brought down and that some structures had roof damage, but there did not appear to be widespread or severe damage. By late last night, there were no reports of injuries in the Oronogo area. On the Kansas side, the National Weather Service confirmed a tornado touchdown near Galena. According to authorities, no one was seriously injured. Crawford County Emergency Manager Jason Van Beesler made the verbal request to help with recovery efforts from Monday's severe weather. Van Beesler says the county will be well above the dollar threshold needed to be declared a state of emergency, and believes it will be a multi-county declaration because of flooding throughout Labette, Neosho, and Allen counties. On Friday, Van Beesler will take that same request to county commissioners, who will sign off on it and send it to Topeka. Some people in the Iola, Kansas area are preparing to evacuate if river levels continue to rise. Around Allen County, water from flash flooding has decreased, but the Neosho River is at 20 feet. and could crest at 25.9 feet. And that's according to the National Weather Service. That's just below flooding that devastated homes back in 2007. Officials also say if water reaches that level, they would be forced to shut down the city's water treatment plant.
We will still have water storage in our water towers and water tanks, and we're going to, at that time, we will make a public announcement of, okay, here's how much water we have, here's what we think we can get by if we conserve water, and we'll issue a kind of conservation guidelines.
The American Red Cross has set up a temporary shelter at Allen County Community College in the activity building. Erie High School is opened overnight for folks in Erie, Kansas, displaced by flooding. The Neosho River near Erie is expected to crest early this morning. Water levels are expected to reach 41 feet by this afternoon. That's similar to the levels Erie residents saw in 2007. When the waters recede near Erie, they'll head south to Miami, Oklahoma, and that's where the Red Cross has set up a shelter for flood victims. It's 5:07.
I want to focus in on this severe thunderstorm warning that we have through Jasper and Newton counties right now. This is moving at 35 miles per hour. So if we take that pink area right there that it's just south of Carthage and move that out, give you an idea of approximate times when it will be in Sarcoxy, about 5:18. Then we're looking at Miller at 5:49. Eventually out of our highlighted counties there by around 6 o'clock. Torrential rainfall still coming down and cloud to ground lightning. Once again, a serious threat. We also have tornado watches in effect for our counties listed in purple. So we are not done with our severe weather as of yet. Of course, we're just going to keep on tracking this throughout the course of the morning and also bring you the latest damage reports that we have from last night and this morning's tornado outbreaks.
That's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, now the Baxter Springs Lions are gearing up for another shot at the state tournament.
We're something to talk about this morning, asking you to share your storm and flood photos at the KOAM Facebook page. And a look at a program getting kids interested into a medical field and doing so at a young age.
You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back.
Coming to Kansas City as Commissioner Roger Goodell made the announcement. In 2023, League will hold its annual draft in downtown KC near Union Station and the National World War I Museum.
I want to thank the Commissioner and the NFL Events Committee and my fellow owners for trusting in us to bring the draft to Kansas City. I know our fans are going to go absolutely crazy. It's going to be really, really special.
Baxter Springs Lions headed back to the state tournament last week, winning a regional title, beating undefeated Frontenac and earning a spot in the 3A state bracket. Lions 17-5 going into the state tourney and facing defending state champion Sabetha in the first round this afternoon. A little pressure playing at state when you face the defending champs, but Lions no stranger to the big stage. Plus, wanting to prove this is the opportunity why you play the game in the first place.
The environment's always great, and you're not a competitor if that's not what you want to do. And we talk to our guys about that. We try to prepare for it. We put a lot of pressure on them in practice and in games for that environment. Once we get there, it shouldn't be too much of a shock.
Pittsburgh State Club baseball team winning a national championship Tuesday night, beating Air Force 7-0, claiming the NCBA Division II national title and doing so in front of the home crowd. Pitt State dominant in the World Series. They went 4-0, outscored opponents 29-4 along the way, and Jordan Miller, your World Series MVP. He made 2 starts on the mound, threw 2 complete game shutouts, allowed just 3 total hits, racked up 18 strikeouts, threw a 1-hitter in the championship game.
This was absolutely one of the hardest years of my life. We graduated a lot of guys from last year. Trying to come together and find out where everybody worked the best it was a real challenge for us. So seeing all our hard work pay off feels really good.
Royals and Cardinals meeting up this week for a quick 2-game set. Now, they were supposed to play game 1 on Tuesday, but because of Mother Nature, that was postponed. The 2 teams playing a doubleheader yesterday. Cardinals coming in losers of 7 of the last 9 games. Top of the 3rd, Whit Merrifield doubles to left. Cam Gallagher comes home. Royals take a 2-0 lead. And then it just gets ugly for the Cards, and great for the Royals. Jorge Soler. 3-run home run off Michael Wacha as Kansas City pushes the lead to 7-0. In the 7th inning, Alberto Mondesi, he leads the league in triples. Gets another one right here as Nicky Lopez scores as the Royals take game 1, 8-2. In the nightcap, Cards able to even it up. Take the final one, 10-3. I-70 series continues later on this year. Still to come on the KOAM Morning News, the latest from Syria, where officials say the Assad regime engaged in another chemical attack, and a check on our 7-day forecast and a recap of a night filled with tornadoes and thunderstorms when the KOAM Morning News returns. Here's where we stand on the Skywatch Storm Tracker at 5:16 on this Thursday morning. Just torrential rainfall coming down, especially on the southern portion of the 4 states. Cloud-to-ground lightning also a concern as we're just lighting up the skies. You also see counties in purple indicating a tornado watch. Then we also have a severe thunderstorm warning for Jasper and Newton counties lasting until 5:30. This storm traveling at about 35 miles per hour. And what we're seeing out of it is, number one, possibility for some hail involved with that. And if we track that out at the rate that it's going at that 35 miles per hour, pushing off to the northeast right now, give you an approximate time frame for where it will be arriving in your neighborhood. 5:18 in Sarcoxy, about 5:45 in Miller, pushing out of our highlighted viewing area by about 6 o'clock. Now, overnight, multiple reports of tornadoes across the 4 states. Those are just the reports that have come in so far. We will be receiving more as the morning goes on, along with the pockets of rain up to 4 to 5 inches. You can tell how the storm progressed through northeast Oklahoma into southeast Kansas and then made its way through southwest Missouri, leaving a band of damage as it went. That includes 3 deaths reported in Golden City, Missouri, when a modular home was destroyed by a tornado, and widespread damage in the Briarbrook subdivision in Carl Junction, Missouri. Also of note, in Jefferson City, Missouri, more widespread damage, including debris that was thrown 13,000 feet into the sky. Major tornadoes across the state of Missouri, including our 4 state areas. And once again, it gives you an idea of where they started and the line that it took through northeast Oklahoma. Also, one touching down in Galena and then making its way across the state line into southwest Missouri. Not done as of yet. As far as what Future Track has in store, that's that severe thunderstorm that we're talking about right now. It will eventually push off to the east, but we still have more rain coming behind it. And it's going to come up somewhat isolated here as we get to the afternoon and evening hours, but still the precipitation sticking around. So now we turn our attention to Thursday night. I want to pay attention to the left-hand portion of your screen, what develops there in central Kansas. Right now, we're going to see some rain in the northern portion of the 4 states, but it looks like the most severe storms for Thursday night are actually going to wrap around us more to the northwest. Now, if this system pushes to the south anymore, we're going to be inundated with more rain. And of course, that's the last thing that anybody needs right now because of the massive flood warnings that we have. Now, you'll see the flood warnings are in the lime green. Of course, the tornado watches, that's indicated in purple. And of course, the yellow, that's our severe thunderstorm warning that we talked about through Jasper and Newton counties. But I also want to point out the dark green that we're seeing, especially along the verdigris that runs from Fredonia through the Neodesha and Independence, and the dark green that runs from Iola, Chanute, down to Oswego. That's the Neosho River. And then the Fredonia Independence Tract, that's the Verdigris River, because we're approaching levels that are similar to the 2007 flood. Now, if we go back, remember at that time, we called the 2007 flood the 50-year flood. We had not seen river levels up to that point in 2007 that we'd experienced in 50 years. Well, we're now becoming precariously close to that. And once again, our rain for today is not quite done. When we look at the severe thunderstorm risk map, you'll also see that an aforementioned western track that we were talking about kind of wraps around us, but at the same point in time, we've got to take the northwestern portion of the 4 states and still consider that in the low category, because those storms that are going to wrap around Wichita those have a chance to sink to the south. Those have the possibility for more high winds and even some hail. When we get to the 7-day forecast, once again, one of the problems is the fact that we're going to have these warm temperatures causes a lot of that instability because of the Gulf moisture that we're picking up. So we're going to have to ride those thunderstorm chances all the way, not only into Memorial Day weekend, but all the way to the middle of next week. And we'll just continually keep you updated on our watches, warnings, and damage reports throughout the course of the KOAM Morning News. For something to talk about this morning, we're asking you to share your photos of storm or flood damage that you have in your area. Also, any updates that you have as far as what you can let us know what happened in your town. Thinking about everybody, want everybody to be safe. And once again, let's just try to stay on the safe side and let these thunderstorms press out before we begin to assess any damage. Biggest thing right now, we've got to turn our attention to flooding concerns. And remember, you're going to run into those flooded roads. Find the alternate route. Please no rubbernecking around those damaged neighborhoods. First responders and the people that live there have enough on their hands to deal with on this Thursday morning. We'll be back with more KOAM Morning News for you right after this.
Topping Health Watch this morning. So you want to be a doctor. An after-school program in Baltimore, Maryland is teaching kids about medicine, sparking an early interest in the medical field. Nicole Killian shows us where playing doctor is encouraging elementary and middle school students to pursue the real thing.
The Little Medical School of Baltimore is planting the seeds for the next generation of doctors.
I want to be a dentist when I grow up.
Doctor or a veterinarian, a nurse or a doctor.
Giving kids like 6th grader Tyreek Brown confidence they need to succeed.
If I became a doctor and a kid came to me to do like a checkup for like basketball, football, I know how to perform a physical now.
Take one, pass it down.
Marion Beck is a nurse who started the non-traditional after-school program, which also includes a little nursing and veterinary school.
Every little kid has said at one point or another, I want to be a doctor, I want to be a nurse, I want to be a vet. So this is kind of filling that void in that STEM enrichment after-school programs.
This 6-week course not only offers students a taste of the medical field, but also teaches practical health skills like how to take your blood pressure.
Judea Berry is almost finished with the program and now knows what she wants to specialize in.
I want to be an OBGYN. If I'm an OBGYN, I might have to do a C-section. And if I have to, then I have to learn how to suture the skin together.
The hope is students go from the little medical school all the way to the real medical school to earn their white coat.
I know the way the body works.
Nicole Killian, CBS News, Baltimore.
The Little Medical School of Baltimore is the newest location to pop up across the country, and after just 1 year is quickly expanding across the city. In addition to before and after school classes, the program will be offered as a summer camp at several locations across the city. Poor diet is linked to more than 1/3 of all colorectal cancer cases in the U.S., and that's according to a study from Tufts University. It estimates more than 5% of cancer cases in 2015 were connected to unhealthy food intake. Researchers say a diet low in whole grains was linked to the largest number of new cases. A new report says fewer American adults are dying of cancer, but more are dying from heart disease. According to the study, the number of U.S. adult cancer deaths dropped 19% between 1999 and 2017. And while heart disease deaths dropped 22% from those years, the rate went up another 4% by 2017. Experts say the heart disease uptick is likely related to growing obesity rates. New research suggests a link between the adult opioid epidemic and the rise of suicide rates among young people. Researchers from the University of Chicago and the University of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, looked at more than 300,000 children and found their risk of attempting suicide doubled if their parents used opioids for at least a year. That's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
The drenching rain continues on this Thursday morning. Also, not only tornado watches in effect, but a severe thunderstorm warning for portions of Jasper and Newton County lasting until 5:30. This thing capable of producing 60-mile-an-hour winds and nickel-sized hail. Counties in purple indicating a tornado watch until the 6 o'clock hour. We'll continue to keep you updated on the Skywatch weather app. Be back after this.
We'll have the latest after tornadoes slam the 4 states, killing at least 3 people. Plus the threat of flooding.
If you are in a possible impacted area, make plans and get out of there now.
How the heavy rains are impacting people along the Neosho River.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good Thursday morning. Welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It is 5:30. I'm Michael Hastley.
And I'm Tanya Bach. Coming up this half hour, we sit down with a NASA astronaut to talk about the Hubble Space Telescope.
Coming off of our night and morning of devastating 4-state weather on the KOAM Facebook page, if you'd like to submit any photos you have of storm damage or flooding, we offer that up for you. We're thinking about everybody who's, right now in the recovery process. But before we do that, we've kind of got to let the cloud-to-ground lightning. We've got to let the torrential rain. We've got to get through that this morning because we're not done yet. Here's a look at the Skywatch storm tracker. I mean, it is just absolutely pouring right now. And of course, one more raindrop is the last thing that we need. Now, on top of that, we also have a severe thunderstorm warning, and we're going to roll that for portions of Jasper and Newton County until, you know what, we have some good news, Tanya. They just lifted that. You know what, we'll take that as a win. We'll take small victories right now. Tornado watch in effect for our counties in purple, but once again, the previous severe thunderstorm warning that we had for Jasper and Newton County, that has been lifted. However, I want to go back and show you this pocket that was just south of Carthage right there. That thing at one point in time was capable of 60-mile-an-hour winds and nickel-sized hail, so please be apprised that thing's moving off to the northeast. You can tell there's a good pocket right there in between Carthage and Mount Vernon, right? Really Sycoxy and Mount Vernon, where it's just absolutely coming down, transition over here out by Baxter Springs, just torrential rainfall and a huge amount of lightning that's coming down with all these as well. Now let's talk about what transpired before that, as we had storm systems move in from northeast Oklahoma that dropped numerous tornadoes. Started in northeast Oklahoma, then we had one in Galena, transitioned into southwest Missouri, where in Golden City, Missouri, 3 fatalities from the result of a tornado destroying a mobile home. Widespread damage throughout the Briar Brook subdivision in Carl Junction, Missouri as well. Now we've got to ride out more thunderstorm activity all the way into the afternoon hours. When we get to tonight, if this thing sinks to the south, we're just going to be inundated with more rain. And of course, we've already got flood warnings abound. So the northernmost counties, that's going to hit the Verdigris, that's going to hit the Neosho. The flood warnings are just going to continue as we work into the weekend. And we've been talking about this. Tanya's going to have more, but we're talking about rising river levels that are similar in nature to what we saw in 2007. And we referred to that as the 50-year flood. Yet here we are in 2019 talking about it 12 years later.
There we are. All right, thanks, Michael. In Barton County, Missouri, 3 people died last night in a modular home. It was 3 to 4 miles west of Golden City. That's according to Lamar Police Chief Rusty Reeves. One person was hospitalized but is expected to survive their injuries. The storms that caused this tornado in Carl Junction started in Ottawa County, Oklahoma. It moved into Cherokee County, Kansas before making its way there. Video clearly shows a well-defined tornado picking up debris. The bulk of the damage in CJ was confined to the Briar Brook area. As you can see, the storm damaged a number of houses and uprooted trees. Much of the neighborhood is without power this morning. Authorities reported many trees down along Fur Road, and authorities closed access to the area to anyone other than emergency crews and people who live there. But at last check, there were no reports of serious injuries there. CJ police reported after an initial check that there were no reports of serious injuries there, only some scrapes and bruises. The storm moved from Carl Junction northeast into the Oronogo area. The National Weather Service issued a tornado emergency. meaning there was an indication of a large, well-defined tornado moving into a populated area. But as it passed through Oronogo, it was unclear late last night whether it actually touched down or was a low-hanging funnel. Early reports were that trees were brought down and that some structures had roof damage, but there did not appear to be widespread or severe damage. And by late last night, there were no reports of injuries in the Oronogo area. On the Kansas side, the National Weather Service confirmed a tornado touched down near Galena, Kansas. According to authorities, no one was seriously injured. Residents in Allen County are preparing for the worst as river levels increase and more weather moves through the area. KOAM Zach Dodge talked with officials in Iola, Kansas to see what they are doing to prepare.
Obviously, there's been widespread flooding through rural agriculture areas and also in parts of the city of Iola.
Tuesday night, several Iola residents voluntarily evacuated their homes because of storms and rising water from the Neosho River. 7 actually staying overnight at a temporary shelter.
We did encourage residents south of Highway 54 to evacuate and get out of the area.
As of Wednesday, most water from flash flooding has gone down, but city officials say the worst hasn't passed, as flooding could be as bad as in 2007.
In 2007, our Neosho River crested at 26.9 feet, which affected probably about a quarter of Iola. We did have a lot of residents that were displaced at that point in time, so basing a lot of stuff on that.
Fleming also says if the river reaches 25 feet, they will have to shut down the city's water treatment plant and use water from the water towers.
At that time, we will make a public announcement of, okay, here's how much water we have, here's what we think we can get by if we conserve water, and we'll issue a kind of conservation guidelines.
Officials are encouraging residents to follow the city's Facebook page, watch the weather and water levels, and plan to evacuate if they have to.
From the conversations that we've had with the National Weather Service, is that it is going to go up, and the likelihood that it's going to go up fast is, I think that's high. And so don't wait too long. If you are in a possible impacted area, make plans and get out of there now.
In Iola, Zach Dodge, KOAM News.
The American Red Cross has set up a temporary shelter at Allen County Community College in the activities building. That shelter also serves as a tornado shelter. We're going to go straight to Michael Hayslip in the KOAM Weather Center right now.
Tanya, we were talking about evacuating south of Highway 54. Look at Thursday morning's rain. It continues to come down. A torrential downpour south of Iola, where they're asking for that evacuation. That's going to be the Neosho River as it runs through Chanute. Now, not only there, look at down in southeast Kansas by Columbus into southwest Missouri in between Mount Vernon and Sarcoxie. More drenching rain continues to come down after record-breaking rainfall from Monday and Tuesday. On top of that, tornado watches will exist all the way until 6 o'clock. And once again, a look at the multiple tornado reports from overnight with widespread damage throughout northeast Oklahoma, then touching down near Galena into southwest Missouri, just miles away from Joplin. And then in Golden City, 3 fatalities. We'll be back with more updated weather and World Watch right after this.
Topping World Watch, growing concerns out of Syria after a new report suggests that the Assad regime may have engaged in a chemical attack in northern Syria earlier this week. Trey Yingst has more details on the story.
New indications that the Assad regime may have used chemical weapons this week. The alleged chlorine attack happened near the northern Syrian city of Idlib. Video posted by members of the White Helmets, a local rescue group, appears to show them looking for people affected by chemicals under the rubble. The U.S. State Department says there will be a quick and appropriate response if chemical weapons were indeed used. This as the Syrian regime has taken part in a major offensive against opposition forces this month, reportedly killing at least 150 people and displacing hundreds of thousands. Syrian President Bashar al-Assad calling the conflict a, quote, hard lesson.
This was a hard lesson for all of us. It was a hard shock that imposed on everyone.
The recent escalation, an alleged chemical attack in northern Syria, follows a months-long ceasefire brokered by Syrian regime ally Russia and the Turkish government. Over the past 2 years, on 2 occasions, the Trump administration launched Tomahawk missiles at Assad's assets in response to reports that he used chemical weapons on civilians. Appearing today before the House Foreign Relations Committee, James Jeffrey, the special U.S. representative for Syrian engagement, provided no supporting evidence for the chemical attack, but did call on fighting in Syria to end.
What we really need in Idlib and throughout the rest of the country is a ceasefire. It's called for in the UN resolution. It reflects the reality on the ground.
That was Trey Yingst reporting after the alleged attack. Russian military leadership claimed Syrian rebels had discussed faking a chemical offensive. The State Department called those comments a disinformation campaign. CBS News has learned defense officials will present plans today to the White House to potentially send thousands more American troops to the Middle East. That would be to counter possible Iranian threats. Officials stress no decision has been made. At least 6 people are dead after a suicide car bomb explodes in Somalia's capital city. First responders rushed to the scene Wednesday at a security checkpoint in Mogadishu. Car bomb detonated as soldiers conducted routine security checks on vehicles in the area. Militant Islamic groups Al-Shabaab, which is linked to Al-Qaeda, claimed responsibility for the attack. In addition to the deceased, more than 13 others were hurt as a result of the blast. Botswana is lifting its ban on elephant hunting. The country's environmental ministry announced the move in a statement posted on Facebook Wednesday. The statement said the ban had a negative impact on livelihoods and that there had been an increase in, quote, human-elephant conflict. The hunting ban was imposed in 2014 to deter poaching. Botswana is home to about 130,000 elephants, roughly 1/3 of the total elephant population on the African continent. Yesterday's heavy storms left a trail of damage in the 4 states. Torrential rains continue to pose flooding threats, and parts of southwest Missouri begin cleaning up this morning from yesterday's tornadoes.
We ask you to share your photos of storm damage or flooding on the KOAM Facebook page if you'd like. There's not going to be any cleanup as of yet because of the torrential rain that continues to pound the 4 states. Once again, our counties listed in purple are under a tornado watch. Those have migrated to the east somewhat, but the flood warnings that you see in green, particularly the dark green indicating our rivers, those will last all the way to the weekend. More KOAM Morning News for you right after this. We are joined by an American hero. It's Captain Greg Johnson. Captain, I want to thank you for joining us. Greg was the 2009 pilot in Atlantis, celebrating the 10th year anniversary of that mission. And Captain, that was the last mission to the Hubble telescope. Hubble telescope, this thing was launched in 1990. It was only supposed to last until 2005, yet there you are in 2009. Explain to us the importance of your mission after the life expectancy of Hubble had already expired.
Well, it was great to be a part of the mission, pretty historic because it was the last mission to fix Hubble and upgrade it. So it was not lost on us that we needed to do a great job. Hubble has lasted over 5 years from the 2009. It's now 2019, 10 years. It's going strong. It's still, to date, it's produced about 1.4 million images. And everything is going ship-shape with Hubble, and I'm really proud to have been part of that historic mission.
And Captain, just to put it into perspective, your mission was to extend the lifeline of Hubble to 2014, yet here we are in 2019. Could you explain you and your crew's role when you went to Hubble?
Yeah, so we had some repairs to do, so some maintenance, repairs, and upgrades. So we added 2 brand new instruments to Hubble. A new camera and a new spectrograph, which is a scientific instrument. And then we did surgical repairs on 2 of the other instruments. These were circuit card repairs never done in space before. And then we added some new batteries, added some new gyros, added some blankets. And the end result was when we released it in 2009, it's been going strong since. And
specific to your mission, Captain, when you reflect upon the pictures that Hubble has been able to bring us back and the advances that we've been able to make from it, how does that personally make you feel?
Pretty proud, frankly. The images inspire people, so it's a really good inspiration. But they also allow us to learn about the universe, to find possibly black holes or exoplanets, planets that may have life on Earth after life beyond Earth. So pretty proud of it, pretty proud of the instrument. It's scientific technology beyond belief, and just to be a small part of that in the air to help fix it and repair it and upgrade it was unbelievable.
Captain, I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit. The White House has made a priority to put a person on the moon by 2028. We haven't been there since 1972, 56-year time gap. Number one, is it plausible to do it by 2028? Number two, where is the future of space travel in your opinion?
Well, first of all, unbelievable that we're going to make that announcement, and I am excited and inspired to do that, because watching Neil and Buzz walk on the moon really got me interested in science and technology. Can we do it in 2024? America can do whatever they want at whatever time frame if they put their mind to it. So I believe we can definitely do it by 2024. What does it mean to go to the moon? I think it means you go to a different part of the moon, the southern part of the moon, and then you stay, you learn how to live on a lunar base, and from there, possibly go to Mars. So,
Captain,
yeah, I'm very excited.
Captain, I want to thank you so much for your time this morning. We do a thing on the show called Four State Heroes, and truly, even though you're not from our neck of the woods, we consider you one of our four state heroes. I want to thank you for your service to our nation, sir.
Great to be here. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We'll have more KOAM Morning News for you right after this. Let's start by talking about the changes in our tornado watch areas. Those are indicated in purple right there. While the one in Crawford County has expired, the one in Cherokee County is now county-wide. And once again, these are lasting until 6 o'clock. We haven't seen any change in our southwest Missouri counties as far as the tornado watch goes. But also, too, I want to point out this band of rain that's lasting from northeast Oklahoma into southwest Missouri, because that is the same track that spawned the tornadoes from last night. Those are the damage reports that we had, and that includes the 3 fatalities near Golden City, Missouri, with the modular home was destroyed by a tornado. And then just outside of Joplin in the Carl Junction area, widespread damage throughout the Briarbrook subdivision. No reports of any serious injuries coming out of Briarbrook, but we can give you an idea of exactly the path that this took as it made its way through the 4 states. Now, what we're going to have this afternoon is more rain, and that's the last thing we need with all our flood warnings, but we're going to have to ride this out into the late afternoon hours. And if that thing up to the left-hand portion of the screen sinks to the south, flooding gets worse.
We'll have the latest after tornadoes slam the 4 states, killing at least 3 people. Plus the threat of flooding.
If you are in a possible impacted area, make plans and get out of there now.
How the heavy rains are impacting people along the Neosho River.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
On the 8th anniversary of the Joplin tornado, additional twisters roll through southwest Missouri with a trail of destruction, including 3 fatalities reported in Golden City. Now, this video you're looking at is out of Carl Junction, Missouri, with widespread damage. We are hearing that no serious injuries reported from the Briarbrook subdivision, and we'll have more video for you coming up as we progress through the duration of the show. It is 6 o'clock. I'm Michael Hastley.
And I'm Tanya Bach. Coming up this half hour, we're going to break down the latest damage reports from last night's storms.
Also, too, on the KOAM Facebook page, if you'd like to share any photos or videos that you have of damage or flooding. That has been a concern all week and will continue to be a concern into the weekend. We'll pass those along, give people an idea of what you're dealing with in your community. Here's a live look over 7th and Rangeline from our tower cam, where the lightning is just nonstop, and it's been this way all night long. It just has not stopped with the torrential rain. And up here by Fort Scott, I was looking at this. That thing is coming down at 11 inches an hour. That's unfathomable. It's, not even safe to travel in. And then we got this pocket just to the north of Joplin as well. That's where we're seeing all that lightning come from the tower camera. So let's talk about what we're looking at as far as watches and warnings, etc. We do have tornado watches? No. Okay. This is good. These have been allowed to expire within the last 30 seconds. When we started the segment, those were on there. So, once again, we're getting a little bit better as we progress. Those tornado watches were indicated by purple. We are not seeing those anymore. So now we're going to deal with, number one, the rain. But number two, I'm going to throw the lightning strikes that we've had in the last 5 minutes alone. That's isolated to the last 5 minutes. So while the tornado watch may have expired, I tell you what, we're a long way off from the rain and the lightning being over. Now, this is what we picked up in the last 24 hours. Pockets through northeast Oklahoma as much as 5 inches working their way across state lines. And those are the tornado reports that go along with it. I want to talk about precipitation really fast. This will be the 3rd time this week Joplin has broken a single-day record for the amount of rain it's gathered in one day. Now we talk about the tornadoes. They started overnight in northeast Oklahoma, cut a swath through Galena in southeast Kansas, eventually ending in Golden City, Missouri. 3 fatalities and 1 serious injury reported with the destruction of a modular home, widespread devastation just north of Joplin in the Carl Junction area and the Briarbrook subdivision. And we're not done. This afternoon, while we get isolated, the last thing we need is one more raindrop, but it continues to come down. And as we work through the night, if that system on the top left-hand portion of your screen decides to sag to the south, we're just going to go at it one more time. Right now, it's trying to take a little northeasterly track on us, but our northernmost counties still going to get more precipitation as we work into Friday morning. We've got to keep those chances for thunderstorms all the way through Memorial Day weekend into the middle of next week.
All right, thanks, Michael. In Barton County, Missouri, 3 people died in a modular home. It was 3 to 4 miles west of Golden City, and that's according to Lamar Police Chief Rusty Reeves. 1 person was hospitalized but is expected to survive their injuries. The storms that caused a tornado in Carl Junction started in Ottawa County, Oklahoma, moved into Cherokee County, Kansas before making its way there. Now, video clearly showed a well-defined tornado picking up debris. The bulk of the damage in CJ was confined to the Briarbrook area. We've sent our own Jesse Irwin to the scene, who's now joining us with the latest. Jesse.
Hey everybody, we are here in Carl Junction where, as we know, last night we had a severe weather system pass through. I am joined by Sergeant Jim Stever, who has been here all night. You started your shift at what time yesterday?
4 p.m. yesterday.
4 p.m. So I'm sure you've done some rotations just going through the area, especially Briarbrook, which was primarily hit. What can you tell me about what you saw?
There was scattered power outages, a lot of damage to roofs and structures from trees. There's vehicles that were damaged as a result of the tornado. It's really dark, so it was difficult to really assess the damage at the time.
Right. So that's a big part of today. You're waiting for the sun to come up so you can assess that damage. Fortunately, no fatalities, only minor injuries. But as Carl Junction schools are closed and you guys begin to figure out how bad the damage is, what are you foreseeing in terms of a timeline of sort of all of that assessment?
Well, once daylight hits, we're going to go back out to the affected areas and try to contact each resident as needed to see what we can do. We'll start clearing roads, make sure all the roadways are clear so that emergency vehicles can traverse the side streets. And then I'm sure Empire is going to work on getting the power back to the affected areas.
Yeah. Well, that's a big part of this is people want to know what resources they have available to them at the moment, what they should do and shouldn't do. What can you tell the people, not only of Carl Junction and Briarbrook, but of the area right now as to how they should proceed?
Well, if your power's out, make sure you call Empire and notify them that your power is out, so they'll put you on a list, and then just take it from there. If you have gas, call the gas company and report any problems that you might have.
Okay. That's great. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you taking time. I know you've had a long night, but thank you for everything you've done over the last 12 hours, 14 hours to be exact, and hope you get some rest, and we'll see what comes once the daylight hits.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right. We'll have more updates throughout the morning, but for now, let's send it back over to you guys in the studio.
Well, thanks, Jesse. I'm glad to see that you guys have found a dry place to stand as the rains continue. And let's go ahead and go back to Michael Hayslip in the KOAM Weather Center for another check of the forecast.
Empire District Electric looking at about 1,300 customers without power right now, and that'll range anywhere from the southwest area of Joplin into where Jesse was, Carl Junction and Asbury, and then we'll also include Dunweg and Carthage as part of those outages. The Carl Junction R1 School District canceling school for today with the widespread damage throughout the city. Cleanup efforts are going to be vastly hampered by the torrential rains that continue to come down throughout the entirety of the 4 states. Very little place having a break right now, and it's one of those things that we're going to have to ride into the afternoon hours. I would love to tell you that we're going to get a little bit of a reprieve, but as Future Track on the high-resolution rapid refresh radar will show you, it continues to train in from the west. And while it does lighten up, we've got to turn our attention to more developments tonight off to the northwest with the potential for this system to sag down to the south. And once again, we're all actually looking at additional rainfall there, especially from the central to our northernmost counties all the way into Friday morning.
That's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, we continue our spotlight on Branson with a preview of the showboat Branson Belle.
Look at the Ebola outbreak in the Congo as well.
You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back.
Lightning and rain continue to pound the 4 states coming off of a late night and early morning of severe weather. As we look at the Skywatch Storm Tracker here as we sit at 11 minutes past 6 o'clock. We'll start to the west and work to the east. Number 1, up in by Chanute and Iola. They're asking for evacuation south of Highway 54. That's where we see additional rainfall coming down right now. In between Girard and Pittsburgh, it's pouring. Up in Fort Scott, a report of rain coming down at the rate of 11 inches per hour. Then we turn our attention to southwest Missouri, where that pocket over Joplin that we just looked at from our tower cam at 7th and Range line, and we see that line that makes its way from Miami across into southeast Kansas and into southwest Missouri. Same path that not only did the torrential rainfall take last night, but also the same system that dropped a number of tornadoes. Started in northeast Oklahoma and Delaware County, made its way through southeast Kansas into Galena, eventually to Golden City, Missouri. 3 fatalities and 1 serious injury reported when the tornado destroyed a modular home. Then we transitioned to Briar Brook and Carl Junction, Missouri, widespread damage. And while the damage quite impressive, no reports of any serious injuries coming out of Carl Junction. However, the R1 school district for Carl Junction has been canceled for today, and you've got about 1,300 customers for Empire District Electric currently without power. And we're not done as of yet. As we push into the afternoon hours, while it does become more isolated, we still have the possibility to pick up more rain. Last thing that, number 1, anybody needs with the saturated soil, but number 2, we're actually seeing our rivers rise to a level that rivals that of the 2007 floods. Back in 2007, we referred to those as the 50-year floods. Well, it's 2019, and we're getting precariously close once again. As far as what Future Track has in store, by the time we get to the nighttime hours, we'll focus on what's to the northwest, because if this system decides to take a southerly track to it, it's actually going to push into the central portion of the 4 states. Right now, the high-resolution rapid refresh radar does show it filtering more so to the north, but once again, you've got the Verdigris, you've got the Neosho rivers. Those fill up. Those got to run downstream somewhere, so those are going to end up down by Independence and eventually down by Miami and Commerce. So flood warnings going to last until Thursday. These are going to be extended, those Thursday time frames. Let's go ahead and just push those forward 24 hours like we did yesterday. And of course, your dark green indicating our numerous rivers that are already flooded. Those flood warnings lasting all the way into the weekend. Now, for Thursday into Friday, we look at the severe thunderstorm risk map. We're going to go the low portion. That's that one up to the northwest I was talking about in the elevated area through Wichita and up to the north. Can't get rid of the chances for thunderstorms. We're going to roll those all the way through Memorial Day weekend into the middle of next week. We'll constantly keep you updated and, of course, have the latest on the Skywatch weather app. Now, for a little levity on our Thursday morning show, a spotlight on Branson. Welcome back to Spotlight on Branson 2019. And the premier place to stay when you're in town is going to be Stonebridge Resorts, and that's where we catch up with Mr. Sam Dieter. Sam, thank you so much for joining us.
Absolutely.
Sam runs the joint, and I'll tell you what, it is first class all the way. We're actually standing in one of your new units right now, 5 bedrooms. It's a perfect place for family reunions to get together with friends, and you're ever growing. What are we looking at right here?
Well, this is a 5-bedroom patio home. It has 5 bedrooms. It's on 2 levels, so there's actually a living room on this floor that we're standing in, and then a larger living room downstairs, so plenty of room to spread out. We actually have another 5-bedroom right next door, so it makes great for family reunions that you want to get together but not be right on top of each other.
You bring up a great point, Sam, because while we love our family and friends and we love spending time around them, the great thing about Stonebridge is when I come here, there's plenty of room to spread out, enjoy everybody's company in a gorgeous dining room, a large kitchen, but at the same point in time, we do have our own space.
Absolutely. Gives you a lot of room, plenty of extra bedrooms, bathrooms, a lot of space to spread out, have your own private time, but yet still be able to get together.
How do we get a hold of you? Where do we need to call? Where do we need to go online to make sure this all happens?
Well, of course, the easiest way, you can go to our website, stonebridgebranson.com. There we have photos of all of the units we have. You can check our availability, book right there. Or if you'd like, you can call as well. 417-332-1373, and reservationists can help you and answer all your questions.
And I understand that with Spotlight on Branson, you may be offering just a little perk, maybe?
We've been doing this for a number of years. We appreciate all the viewers, and we're going to offer them an extra 10%. Just mention that you saw us here, and we'll give you an extra 10% off.
You are too kind, sir. So all you have to do is give Sam a call or go online. And when you do, make sure that you say that you saw Stonebridge Resorts on KOAM or Fox 14 as part of Spotlight on Branson. Sam's going to give you 10% off. Also, one thing I want to point out before we go. Sam, pet friendly, right? You don't need to worry about it. Leaving the dogs and cats at home?
All of our units aren't, but we do have units that are pet friendly. And so you just need to make sure that you let us know when you make your reservation so we can make sure we get you in the right unit.
And that's all you have to do. Make sure you bring the family, the friends, the pets. Give Sam a call. Tell them that you saw it. Spotlight on Branson on KOM and Fox 14. Sam Dieter, I want to thank you for joining us. I want to thank you for hosting us at Stonebridge Resorts because I tell you what, it has become our home away from home here on Spotlight on Branson.
Always happy to have you.
We'll have more Spotlight on Branson for you when we return right after this.
Topping Health Watch this morning, a top United Nations official says there is a very high risk that Africa's latest Ebola outbreak will spread. It's killed nearly 1,100 in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Deborah Pata is at the only U.S. broadcast correspondent inside the epicenter of the outbreak, where she found a danger even greater than the disease.
2-year-old Charity fights for her life in this Ebola treatment center. She was admitted today with her critically ill mother, Kabua Safi, who lies isolated in another plastic cube, too sick to tend to her little girl.
There have been major advances in the treatment of Ebola since the last deadly outbreak in 2014. Now patients are put in these plastic cubes, which provides a protective barrier between the doctor and the patient.
There's also a new vaccine, which should be good news for the Democratic Republic of Congo in its fight against its deadliest outbreak to date. Except this epidemic is in a war zone. World Health Ebola manager Dr. Michelle Yao told us their hospitals are repeatedly being targeted by the more than 30 armed militia groups roaming the forests around the hot zones.
Anytime that you have an incident, it takes weeks to recover. The last incident was around April when our WHO colleague unfortunately got killed. It took us like 3 weeks to recover.
But the violence has not deterred Esperance Musinda from her work at the UNICEF Children's Unit. She herself is an Ebola survivor. Here, they don't wear protective gear as survivors are immune from further infection. The survivors look after babies suspected of contracting the virus, but who desperately need a loving touch in order to thrive. I'm not afraid of Ebola, Musinda tells us. I'm afraid of the violence. Another survivor, also called Esperance, which means hope, lost both her children to the disease. How are you coping? And yet you still continue to work with children. That's incredible. This poor woman went to get treated for malaria, ended up with Ebola, and her 2 children died. And now here she is working with children. I mean, that's just dedication. This is the country's 10th Ebola outbreak, and it's getting worse every day. But while the people of Beni may be used to death, they haven't given up on hope just yet.
The country is used to dealing with Ebola extremely efficiently, and doctors tell us that if it wasn't for the violence, the outbreak would easily have been contained by now. And that's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
There's not going to be a chance for cleanup and recovery efforts to really begin in earnest this morning because of the amount of rain that we're still seeing on the Skywatch storm tracker and still picking up lightning associated with that as well. We now have flash flood warnings that have been extended until 12:15 this afternoon. Here is the path of the overnight tornadoes that started May 22nd on the 8th anniversary of the Joplin tornado, lasted into the early morning hours. Now, here's what we're going to have through the duration of the afternoon. We're going to lighten up just a little bit, but we're still going to have chances of rain all throughout the afternoon and evening, and then coming back into the north central portion of the 4 states overnight. We'll be back, update the Skywatch storm tracker right after this.
We'll have the latest after tornadoes slam the 4 states, killing at least 3 people. Plus the threat of flooding.
If you are in a possible impacted area, make plans and get out of there now.
How the heavy rains are impacting people along the Neosho River.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good Thursday morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It is 6:30. I'm Michael Hayslip.
And I'm Tanya Bach. Coming up this half hour, we'll have the latest after House Democrats accuse the president of a cover-up.
And from the KOAM Facebook page, if you'd like to share any photos or videos that you have of yesterday's storm damage or flooding in your community, feel free to pass those along, give us an idea of what you're dealing with. Our thoughts and prayers with everybody who is going to go through an entire prolonged recovery portion right now after the tornadoes from yesterday, and of course hitting on the 8th anniversary of the Joplin tornado. And recovery efforts are going to be severely hampered by the amount of rain that we're experiencing to go along with cloud-to-ground lightning. And now the rain is letting up, and that's scary to think about because we're still seeing a whole lot of orange and even patches of red right there as it moves from west to east on this morning. And those are the tornado reports from yesterday. We see it started in northeast Oklahoma. We can follow the path as it then touched down in Galena in southeast Kansas, moved over Carl Junction, and destroyed a modular home near Golden City, Missouri. 3 fatalities and 1 person seriously injured in Golden City. Carl Junction R1 School District classes canceled for today. In southwest Missouri, for our highlighted counties, 1,500 customers of Empire Electric now without power. As we progress through the duration of our Thursday, while the rain lightens up, it doesn't give up all the way. And then as we work into Thursday night, more creeps in from the northwest, especially for our north central counties. So what we're going to have to ride are flash flood warnings until this afternoon. Not going to be surprised one bit if those aren't extended. The dark green that you see, of course, those are our rivers. Really looking at right now the Verdigris and the Neosho in southeast Kansas as they are close to levels of the 2007 flood.
Oh my. Well, in Barton County, Missouri, 3 people died in a modular home. It was 3 to 4 miles west of Golden City, and that's according to Lamar Police Chief Rusty Reeves. 1 person was hospitalized but is expected to survive. their injuries. The storms that caused this tornado in Carl Junction started in Ottawa County, Oklahoma. It moved into Cherokee County, Kansas, before making its way there. Video clearly showed a well-defined tornado picking up debris. The bulk of the damage in CJ was confined to the Briarbrook area. Our own Jesse Irwin is live on the scene with the latest where he joins us.
Hey everybody, it is pouring out here. I'm not going to stand out here very long, but I just want you to know there is flooding a little bit over here, as you can see behind me. I'm going to go undercover, but we're going to keep the camera on that. We're at the community center here in Carl Junction, where there's significant flooding over behind the community center. But what I did find out, I was speaking to a woman at a nearby gas station, and she told me that at 8 o'clock, they have said that anyone who's looking to help out is welcome to meet up over at the community center. So at 8 a.m., they're going to meet up. And if anybody wants to help out with any storm cleanup, it's very much appreciated. Quote, Briarbrook has received significant damage. Please bring chainsaws, gloves, water, heavy shoes, raincoats, and anything else you can. So just want you guys to understand there is flooding here and there in the Carl Junction area. Obviously, Briarbrook is where the significant damage really hit. But if you are looking for a way to help, you got to stay safe. The 4 things that I'm figuring out is that when it comes to situations like this, you want to stay alert. You want to stay out of the way of any law enforcement unless they're asking for your assistance. And ultimately, you want to stay safe. That is the biggest thing. So stay tuned into the KOAM Morning News. And then over on Fox 14 at 7, we'll continue to have updates from over here in Carl Junction. But otherwise, we're going to send it back over to you guys.
Jesse, thanks so much for that report. Well, the storm moved from Carl Junction northeast into the Orinoco area. The National Weather Service issued a tornado emergency, meaning there was an indication of a large tornado moving into a populated area. As it passed through Orinoco, it was unclear late last night whether it actually touched down or was a low-hanging funnel. Early reports were that trees were brought down and that some structures had roof damage, but there did not appear to be widespread or severe damage. By late last night, there were no reports of injuries in the Orinoco area. More than a dozen people were left trapped in the wreckage of their Jefferson City, Missouri homes after a tornado tore through the state overnight. The National Weather Service confirmed that the large and destructive tornado moved over the city of Jefferson City shortly before midnight. According to Jefferson City Police Lieutenant David Williams, no deaths have been reported in the state capital, but 20 people have been rescued by emergency personnel. Now back to the Kansas side, where the National Weather Service has confirmed a tornado did touch down near Galena. According to authorities, no one was seriously injured. Some people in the Iowa-Kansas area are preparing to evacuate if river levels continue to rise. Around Allen County, water from flash flooding has decreased, but the Neosho River is at 20 feet and could crest at more than 25.9 feet, and that's according to the National Weather Service. That's just below flooding that devastated homes back in 2007. Officials also say if water reaches that level, they would be forced to shut down the city's water treatment plant. When the waters recede near Erie, they'll head south to Miami, Oklahoma, and that's where the Red Cross has set up a shelter for flood victims.
The Red Cross has set up a shelter in the Miami First Christian Church with the help of Salvation Army as far as our feeding at the moment. We're providing meals and a place to sleep and take showers and to get away from the water and the damage of their homes.
The Red Cross storm shelter in Miami does not accept pets. That's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour in the KOAM Morning News. The President versus Congress.
President Trump has given House Democrats an ultimatum: end the investigations into him or forget about legislating. I'm Laura Podesta with details on how those Democrats are responding to that threat.
Plus, for our Something to Talk About, we're asking you to send in your storm and flood-related photos. First, it's 6:37.
Tanya, so often we see injuries associated with severe weather that often happen during the recovery and cleanup process. Going to urge everyone to stay inside this morning and let everything roll over, because not only do we have the rain, but I want to show you the amount of cloud-to-ground lightning that we have in the past 5 minutes alone. Those strikes in just the last 5 minutes. Now, the wind, not so much an issue, but the best thing to do is to let everything pass before you begin that cleanup effort. We'll have more KOAM Morning News and Nation Watch for you right after this.
Topping Nation Watch this morning, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, while discussing the investigation of President Trump, says he is engaged in a cover-up. Laura Podesta has details on the fallout from her comments.
A bipartisan meeting on infrastructure crumbled yesterday.
I want to do infrastructure. You can't do it under these circumstances. So get these phony investigations over with.
President Trump quickly ended a White House meeting with Democrats, furious over comments House Speaker Nancy Pelosi made earlier on Capitol Hill.
We believe that the President of the United States is engaged in a cover-up.
I don't do cover-ups.
Pelosi said the president had a temper tantrum. He wrote back on Twitter saying, "Not true. I was purposely very polite and calm."
To watch what happened in the White House would make your jaw drop.
The speaker doubled down later in the day.
He's engaged in a cover-up, and that could be an impeachable offense.
And while impeachment talks grow louder,
his campaign chairman is in prison. Don't tell me there's not enough to debate here.
Pelosi wants to keep Democrats focused on investigating President Trump.
Right now, we're having success in the court.
Yesterday, a federal judge ruled against a White House attempt to block subpoenas for the president's financial records from Deutsche Bank.
If you think the president obstructed justice, impeach him.
Senate Republicans think Democrats are wasting their time.
Saddle up and ride. Grow some guts. But stop the petty harassment.
A new CBS News poll found just over half of registered Republicans want the administration to cooperate with the investigations. Laura Podesta, CBS News.
That same poll also found that most Americans want Democrats to move on to other issues. A redesigned $20 bill featuring Harriet Tubman will not debut next year. Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin said Wednesday that the new currency will be unveiled in 2028 rather than 2020 as originally planned. Mnuchin said the department wanted to focus on boosting security features. The new design would replace President Andrew Jackson on the front of the bill with Harriet Tubman, who escaped slavery and worked to free others. Jackson would still appear on the back of the bill. Yesterday's heavy storms left a trail of damage in the 4 states. Torrential rains continue to pose flooding threats, and parts of southwest Missouri begin cleaning up this morning from yesterday's tornadoes.
Cleanup's going to have to wait a little bit, though, with the rain that we're experiencing. But if you would like and you have photos of storm damage or perhaps flooding in your community, you can post them on the KOAM Facebook if you'd like. And Tanya, here's what I was talking about earlier as far as the amount of rain that we're getting right now. I want to take this little pocket just to the northeast of Nevada. The thing's coming down at almost 6 inches of rain per hour. Now, granted, at least it's moving off to the east a little bit. We have had our tornado watches and severe thunderstorm warnings lifted that we started the show with, and lightning decreasing just a little bit, but need everybody to be extremely careful when you step outside because remember, not only the lightning, but also, too, we're going to experience the chance for tree limbs that will fall later today. So be apprised of that situation. We'll come back, have more KOAM Morning News for you right after this.
We take this time to honor today's 4-state hero, Sergeant Melvin Kennett, who served in the United States Army from 1944 to 1946. He fought in World War II, where he received the Bronze Star. His hometown, Pittsburgh, Kansas. We salute Melvin Kennett, our 4-state hero.
Let's get our birthday started with a happy second to Lexus Owens. Lexus, have a great day, kiddo.
All right, and we got Dylan Kinsey turning 7 strong this year. Dylan, hope you have a great day in Edna, Kansas.
In Devon, Kansas, that is Bryn Casper, and a happy 7th birthday as well to Miss Bryn.
We'll head south to Columbus, where Cord Saporito turns 8 years old this year.
Dalton Nyberger, a 9th birthday. Dalton is in Parsons.
And turning 12 this Thursday is Daniel Simmons. Happy birthday, Daniel.
Mira Leverins, a happy 14th birthday to you, ma'am.
Bryson Stewart turning 14 years old. Bryson is in Bronson, Kansas.
In Seneca, happy birthday to Lacey Skaggs.
We'll head all the way out to Fredonia for 25th birthday celebration for Amanda Green.
Allison Bowles, Shade Zone, celebrating number 27. Allison's in Parsons.
Shandy Scales celebrating another year wiser. Shandy is in Pittsburgh.
In Girard, a very happy birthday to Joyce Pyle.
Nancy Thornton turning 64 this year in Thayer, Kansas.
Jan Morrow, a 77th birthday. Who's that little one that you're spoiling right there, Miss Jan? Happy birthday in Fredonia.
Aw, we've got a 10th anniversary to celebrate in Columbus, Kansas. Congrats going out to the Huttos, James and Tiffany celebrating 10 years together.
We also have a happy birthday to Timmy Chandler. Timmy is in Chanute, and Walter and Heather York. Congratulations as they celebrate their 4th anniversary. That's where you can send them into P.O. Box 659, Pittsburgh, KS 66762. Remember, send that self-addressed stamped envelope so we can get your picture back to you. And if you choose to do it electronically, that email, birthdays with an S at KOAMTV.com. Don't be like me. Make sure you specify which day the birthday is supposed to run so you're not begging forgiveness to our wonderful graphics person, Lynn Riggs. Sorry, Lynn. Live look over 7th and Rangeline as we lock in for another day of rain coming off a afternoon and evening, May 22nd, severe weather. Here's where we stand right now. Still seeing pockets where it's coming down 4 to 5 inches an hour, a fair amount of lightning associated with this. Now, we have been able to lift, number one, our tornado watches that we had overnight, and number two, the severe thunderstorm warning that we started the show with. But this is coming off of the tornadoes that touched down beginning in northeast Oklahoma, stretching into southwest Missouri. And you can tell that's the precipitation accumulation in the past 24 hours alone. We're seeing 5 inches indicated in the red right there. So when it started in northeast Oklahoma, it then made its way into southeast Kansas, where we had a touchdown into Galena, just past Joplin, into Golden City, near Golden City, Missouri. 3 fatalities when it tornado destroyed a modular home, 1 serious injury associated with that as well. Then just outside of Joplin in Carl Junction, subdivision of Briarbrook, widespread damage, number of houses without roofs right now. No reports of any serious injuries coming out of Briarbrook. Would like to tell you that the R1 school district, that's going to be in Carl Junction. Also the Seneca school district. No classes today because of the severe weather from yesterday, combination of not only the damage but also widespread power outages. You have about 1,500 customers right now throughout southwest Missouri and a portion of southeast Kansas that are without power. So once again, no school for Carl Junction, no school for Seneca. Now, I was told there may be one more school update. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk over here. We're going to update the KOAM Close Now. You can go to KOAMNewsNow.com. That's KOAMNewsNow.com. And yes, we do have another one to report. Carl Junction, Seneca, and Webb City. CJ, Seneca, and Webb. No classes for you on this Thursday. Let's try to make it a day of recovery, but that's going to be a little bit difficult even when we get to the afternoon hours because we're still picking up isolated rains there as we work through Thursday afternoon into the evening. Now, tonight, we turn our attention to the northwest. Because this system right here, if this thing decides it's going to sag to the southeast, well, then we're just inundated with more rain. Even as it is, the high-resolution rapid refresh radar still wants to filter this into the north-central portion of the 4 states. So what we're going to see right there, that's additional flooding for the Verdigris and Neosho rivers. Those flood warnings are going to persist all the way to the weekend. And, of course, everybody's locked in with a flash flood warning, at least until this afternoon. Not going to be surprised one bit if that's not extended into the evening hours. 7-day forecast shows you because of the instability and the warm temperatures, we got to ride shots for thunderstorms all the way past Memorial Day into the middle of next week. We'll come back with more KOAM Morning News. Wrap up this edition right after this. Give you an idea of what we got for our flash flood warnings, and also, too, I want to update school closings for today. Carl Junction R1, Seneca R7, Webb City R7. Once again, Carl Junction, Seneca, and Webb City school districts canceled for today. Combination of not only the widespread damage from the tornadoes, but also to 1,500 customers throughout southwest Missouri without power on this Thursday morning. Tanya?
I believe some other schools are beginning to add in as well. Just know that we're running the crawl for that at the bottom of our screen. You can go to our website at KOAMnewsnow.com for a complete listing of closed businesses, activities, and schools. Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. At least 3 people are dead after tornadoes blew through the 4-state area yesterday evening. The storms that caused a tornado in Carl Junction started in Ottawa County, Oklahoma. It moved into Cherokee County, Kansas before making its way there. Video clearly showed a well-defined tornado picking up debris. The bulk of the damage in CJ was confined to the Briarbrook area. And as you can see, the storm damaged a number of houses and uprooted trees. Much of the neighborhood is without power. Authorities reported many trees down along Fur Road, and authorities closed access to the area to anyone other than emergency crews and people who live there. At last check, there were no reports of any serious injuries. The storm moved from Carl Junction northeast into the Oronogo area. The National Weather Service issued a tornado emergency, meaning there was an indication of a large tornado, well-defined, moving into a populated area. But as it passed through Oronogo, it was unclear late last night whether it actually touched down or was a low-hanging funnel. Some people in the Iola, Kansas area are preparing to evacuate if river levels continue to rise. Around Allen County, water from flash flooding has decreased, but the Neosho River could crest at near 25 feet, according to the National Weather Service. That's just below flooding that devastated homes back in 2007. Officials also say if water reaches that level, they would be forced to shut down the city's water treatment plant. And that's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
Flooding will get worse as we've got more thunderstorm activity and very, very heavy rain on this Thursday morning, along with a fair amount of lightning. As far as the tornado tracks Tanya was talking about, gives you an idea of the multiple reports that we had. And those accumulation colors that you see, that is in the past 24 hours alone. Here's a look at what we have throughout the duration of our Thursday as we're going to gather up more rain, albeit more scattered as we work through the afternoon hours. Now tonight, it's up to the northwest and keeping our eyes to see how far south this system's going to push as it will last into Friday morning.
Coming up today at noon, we take a look at the latest storm damage after more than a dozen reports of tornadoes ripped through the 4 states.
Your morning news does continue on KOAM. We've got the CBS morning news coming up next.
Or you can switch on over with us on Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues. And this morning, Jesse joins us live from Carl Junction.
Hey guys, we are here in Briarbrook, and I can't express enough how much the damage is. It's really it's pretty severe. And we're so fortunate no one was hurt. But I mean, if you look over here, we're right next to the golf course, and I mean, it goes all the way down the street. We've got trees down and everything. So we're going to talk to a family who had trees fall all around and on their house. And then we're going to hopefully get a word from public officials. Just remember that at 8 a.m., if you are able to, only if it's safe to do so, people are meeting up over at the Chamber of Commerce in Carl Junction to help out with the effort to bring Carl Junction back.
Thank you, Jesse. We'll catch up with you here in just a little bit. Want everybody just to be safe out there and know that we're thinking about you. Have a safe Thursday. We'll do this all again tomorrow morning.
And we're going to do it again today at noon.